Hi and welcome to another gaming video. And in today's video I want to talk through my top 15 favourite first-person shooter games of all time. And this is my personal list. I'm sure there will be games on here that you either agree with, don't agree with, or maybe I should have put a different game from a series in there. And I'm going to limit this to one game per series or per franchise. And it did start off as me trying to make this top 10 list, but I'm such a huge fan of first-person shooters that I even struggled narrowing it down to 15. So there were some outside the top 10 that I had to include. So I stretched it to 15. There will be no particular order because me trying to put these in favourite order was impossible. So let's kick off the list with Doom. Now this is one of my favourite games of all time. I'm talking about the original Doom, and well, it wasn't the first person shooter, but it was a genre defining game. It's where we get first person shooter from. Absolutely superb. Next up is Quake 2. Now I didn't put the original Quake in there. It's a fantastic game, but I didn't like the fact that each episode was a slightly different sort of style. Quake 2 came out and I loved the storyline, I loved the campaign, I loved the fact that the setting that it was in, it was just a great shooter, a game that I still play today. Next up is Resistance 2. This is a PlayStation 3 game, and I think Resistance was a PlayStation exclusive. I know the first game, Fall of Man, was a PS3 launched game. I loved Resistance. In fact, I love the whole of the Resistance. You've got Resistance, Fall of Man, Resistance 2, Resistance 3, Resistance Retribution, I think, on the PlayStation Portable, although that wasn't a first person. They took that in a third person way. And then you've got Resistance Burning Skies on the PS Vita. But out of all of those, I think Resistance 2 is the best. They just tweaked Resistance and just made it so much better in Resistance 2. Next up is Duke Nukem Forever, a game that gets its title from the fact that it took sort of 10 years of development hell, and a game that draws heavily on earlier like Duke Nukem 3D. It brought that macho, sexist appeal from Duke Nukem 3D and brought it into the sort of a newer era. Absolutely superb game. It often gets quite panned as a bad first-person shooter, but I really enjoyed it. I thought the levels were quite good. Some of them were quite difficult. There was quite a variety in sort of gaming style, and I loved Duke Nukem Forever. Next up is Killzone Mercenary. Now, I've not got a huge experience of the Killzone series, but Killzone Mercenary is a PS Vita game, and it's one of those, it's an absolute killer game for the Vita. It doesn't rely too heavily on the gimmick of the touchscreen of the Vita. It does use it, and it uses it very well. And it's a game I go back to constantly. It's probably the best first-person shooter on the PlayStation Vita. Next up is Fear 2. So there are 3 Fear games, and I've left the first one out because it was on the PlayStation 3, but it felt like it should have been on the PS2. Graphically, it just didn't look fantastic. They really stepped that up with Fear 2. Fear 3 really didn't bring too much new to it, so I think 2 is the fantastic option in the middle. A kind of first-person shooter with a horror element, and some of the bits in that were quite scary, but the shooting element of it was superb as well. I loved the Fear range. Next up is Bulletstorm, a game that, well, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's a fairly simple, easy game to play. It doesn't take too long to complete, which I've done a few times. First released on the PS3, remastered on the PS4, and it was also brought out on the Switch. It relies, I'm not going to say it relies, it draws from that Duke Nukem kind of sexist, mature, lots of swearing kind of side of it. So much so that when they brought it out on the Switch, they brought it as the Duke of Switch edition, so you could play as Duke Nukem as the main character. And it is a game that doesn't take itself too seriously. Obviously, you shoot. It is a first-person shooter, but you get more points depending on how you kill someone or how they die. You also have a leash that you can sort of shoot at someone and kill them that way and throw them into things. It is a superb game, a lot of fun, and like I said, quite easy to play. Next up is Crysis 3. Now I've recently rebought the Crysis trilogy, and I think the third one is the best out of the three. The first one was very difficult. The second one brought in some new elements and really enhanced the power suit and the sort of stealth mode of it. And I think that really got captured very well in the third one. A lovely game to play. Next up is Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Now, there are so many Call of Duty games to pick from. I played the earlier ones like 1, 2, the spin offs of 2 and 3, all of that sort of World War kind of gaming, and then Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare brought in this modern side to it. It spawned 2 sequels, then obviously the Black Ops series. But I think Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare is the pinnacle of that golden age of Call of Duty. And next up, I'm going to say Halo 2, but I do only have experience of Halo and Halo 2 because I played those on the original Xbox. Loved Halo, but I think they really ramped it up with Halo 2. Better controls, better graphics, and just a much better game, a bigger game to play. Next on the list is Serious Sam, a game that, well, isn't very serious. Gaming and first-person shooters got a little too serious. I'm going to keep saying that word. But Serious Sam is just you just shoot everything you see, and there are hordes and hordes of them, and they can have explosive arms, or it's just one of those. Another game that doesn't take itself too seriously, and if you just want something where it's not too complicated. I mean, the bosses I did find quite difficult, but if you want something that's not too complicated and it's just an absolute mayhem fest, then Serious Sam is a good choice. Next on the list is Doom 2016, and I know I said I was only going to bring one game per series or franchise into this list, but I couldn't leave Doom 2016 off. I love the original Doom. Doom 2 built on that. And then they went a bit sort of odd with Doom 3. A great game, but a different style, more of a slower paced sort of horror kind of game. And they brought it back with Doom 2016, which it's Doom brought into the modern age. Waves and waves of enemies. Not too difficult, quite linear. You did sort of had to find your way through a level and get to the end. But an absolute blast fest, and I thought it was fantastic. A real honour and a real tribute back to the original Doom, just brought it into a newer age. Next up is Wolfenstein New Order. So a PS3 era game, although it was released right at the end of the PS3. It was also released on the PS4. You could really tell that they were pushing the limits of the PlayStation 3. There'd been some other, I mean, obviously you've got classic Wolfenstein and Wolfenstein 3D. There was another game prior to New Order on the PS3 just called Wolfenstein, which took a very weird direction, and you could turn a veil on and it would show you hidden parts and give you sort of different abilities. But they took it back with New Order, and it just was a fantastic sort of alternative World War shooter. Superb. Next up is The Darkness. Now, a game, yet again, on the PS3. It's where I played a lot of my first-person shooter games. You had The Darkness, you had The Darkness 2. I never played the sequel, and I never actually completed The Darkness. But I did really enjoy it, and because of its slightly uniqueness, I did persevere with it. It was a regular first-person shooter, but then you had this weird twist where you could turn yourself into like a shadow or like a weird black thing. And you could navigate through into places that you couldn't do as a normal person. Gives you the ability to see places, or I don't know, if you're lost, you could work out where you were supposed to be going and then go and find it. I really did enjoy The Darkness. And the final game on this list, so we've got 14 games so far, and they all feature heavily in sort of campaign, single player, story mode kind of games. But on the bottom of this list, I have put Unreal Tournament. So you've got things like Unreal Tournament and Quake 3 Arena, which are the birth of sort of multiplayer arena gaming, something that you see every day these days. I loved Unreal Tournament. It was just a little bit something a bit different, a bit fresh. Chucked in an arena, With those sort of games, you were mainly playing with bots, but it was just a great way. And like I say, it made way for this massive wave that we have now of everything's multiplayer. Everything relies heavily on being able to play with someone else. But Unreal Tournament and Quake 3 Arena, it was more bots because it was sort of like the birth of online gaming. So that is my top 15 games, or top 15 FPS games of all time that I recommend, most of which I do go back and play again. But I did ask my two older sons what their thoughts were. I mean, there's a huge generational jump. I'm mid-40s and they are in their 20s. They've been brought up with gaming and they've both got a keen interest in first-person shooters. But I wanted to see what their thoughts were. So I asked my oldest first, and this is his top 10. So you've got Doom Original, great choice. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, so we both agree on both of those. There is this Hot Dogs, Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, a game I'd never heard of, but that is on his list. Halo Reach, well, I've not ventured past Halo 2. Call of Duty Black Ops 2, Bulletstorm, so two more games that I agree on. Pavlov, a game that I've never heard of, but I think it's some kind of VR game. Sniper Elite 3, and Rainbow Six Siege. I agree with most of those. You've got Doom, you've got Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Black Ops 2, yes, is a superb game, so is Bulletstorm. So then if we take a look at my other son's list, he also has Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. So he grew up in this golden age of Call of Duty. It's not so much these days, but you'll see from his list that there's quite a few entries. He's got Rainbow Six Siege on there, a game that is now nearly sort of 10 years old. He's still playing, and it's still fairly big. He's also got Halo Reach and Bulletstorm. Arizona Sunshine 2, not a game I've heard of. Borderlands, not a franchise that I was a big fan of. And then we get to Call of Duty Ghosts, Call of Duty Cold War, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. So he grew up when you had Call of Duty, like the Modern Warfare series, really kicking off and ramping up everyone's interest in Call of Duty. Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops and Black Ops 2, things like Ghosts and Infinite Warfare, when Call of Duty was superb, and I can't knock him for adding five Call of Duty games, yeah, on his list. But it is interesting to see. I mean, he's not a fan of Doom, so no Doom games on there. We both have, or all three of us have, some sort of Halo game on there. They both like Reach, and I preferred 2. All three of us put Bulletstorm. It is a game that we all think is fantastic, and we all had Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Other than that, there is some differences on there, but I mean, I would play most of these. I don't like Rainbow Six Siege. I don't like Sniper Elite 3. The rest of them, I mean, Borderlands I've played, but not really interested in. Interesting to show off my 15 top FPS games. Doom, Quake 2, Resistance 2, Duke Nukem Forever, Killzone Mercenary, Fair 2, Bulletstorm, Crysis 3, Call of Duty Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, Halo 2, Serious Sam, June 2016, Wolfenstein New Order, The Darkness and Unreal Tournament. And then you've got two other top 10 lists: Doom, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, Hot Dogs, Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, Halo Reach, Black Ops 2, Quake 2, Bulletstorm, Pavlov, Sniper Elite 3 and Rainbow Six on one list, and Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, Rainbow Six Siege, Halo Reach, Bulletstorm, Arizona Sunshine, Borderlands, Call of Duty Ghosts, Call of Duty Cold War, Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. If there are any games that you think that should be, first of all, removed from this list or these lists, then let me know. Or if there are, maybe you do agree with some of the series, but maybe I've picked the wrong game out of each series. Or maybe there's something that I've missed altogether that I really should either get into playing or just at least look at and see whether I agree they are great first-person shooters. So there you go. My top 15 first-person shooters and their top 10s each. Link, like, subscribe, enjoy.